They ran out of blue cloth, and so certain regiments got different colors. This 17th that fought here at the Battle of the River Raisin had black coats instead of blue. But that's a standard infantry uniform. And actually the supply system was so haphazard, we don't think they actually had these by the time of this battle, that they didn't receive them until after the Battle of the River Raisin. So anyway, the National Park people made up these boxes, put little labels here so kids can dress up and know what they are dressing as. In this room, there's not a lot of artifacts left from the Battle of the River Raisin. There are some, and a few of the weapons are in this room. The British weapons over here, standard flintlock musket, fires 75. It's a 75 caliber musket. Fires a round lead ball. Single shot, muzzle loader, flintlock. You can see the flintlock mechanism up here where a piece of flint strikes the steel, creates a spark, sets the gun off. Equipped with a bayonet, and that's a standard weapon. This one probably here, the middle one, it was probably used at our battle here at the River Raisin. But you can see it was in later years modified or modernized because they went from the flintlock to percussion cap, which became the standard in the Civil War. My favorite object is this one. This tomahawk head was found at Stony Creek a few miles north of here. Probably was used on one of those Kentuckians. It is a pipe tomahawk though, so this top part is actually a bowl of a pipe. American weapons, very similar. They used what is often called a French musket, whether it was made in France and sent to the United States as war surplus for us to use, or our early Springfields were the same pattern. And this one is a little different from the British, which is known as the brown bess. This weapon was banded. You can see that there are metal bands holding the barrel onto the stock. And again, this was the standard smooth bore, limited range, 100 yards at best, although they fired at groups of people that were farther away than that. And below it is a rifle. It's a 1803 Harper's Ferry model rifle. I think the actual date on it, it says it's model 1812. But this was the type of firearm that was designed for Lewis and Clark on their expedition west. We don't know if any of these were used at our battle. The British described the American officers as carrying short rifles. So this could have been. This is a rifle, so it has the grooved barrel inside that gives a twist to the bullet when it fires it and makes it much more accurate. And you can shoot a farther distance. The drawback is that bullet has to fit very tightly patched in there, so it takes a lot longer to load that thing. And the entire mechanism can foul more easily and have other mechanical problems. And generally is not equipped with a bayonet. Again, only one shot. This one is a rifle used by a local family, probably was in our battle. And again, here you can see how it was modernized into a percussion system. We know a lot about the battlefield, what it looked like in the early days. Behind me is a painting that was done not too long ago and donated to the battlefield. But it shows the different houses and where they were. At the end of the war, our local militia colonel, John Anderson, went to Washington to try to get help for the local settlers, get reimbursement for their losses during the war, because most of them lost their homes and everything. Their farm, the animals were taken or killed, their crops destroyed. And he did go to Washington, presented the case to Congress, and he made a map showing where everything was. And so we can use that to do paintings. We can make a little maquette exhibits showing the models of the buildings. The only thing he didn't get any money actually out of Congress. In fact, he got arrested for bribing a congressman. But he didn't successfully bribe him, so he didn't actually and get sent to jail. He just got a stern lecture in the House of Representatives. It's in the congressional record today, too, if you want to read it. But we know who lived where, and we know, and we'll point that out on our tour, where those houses were. Any questions before we leave this?